Alright guys, so what we are looking at here is pretty much as complete of an interior as you are going to find. If there's something that you don't see, there's a very good chance I still have it. When I pulled everything, the bolts and screws, I didn't really keep track of them. I have a can full of them. My thought process was whoever buys it is going to be swapping, so you're going to have everything that you need, and then assuming you sell your existing interior, whoever buys it will have what they need. So the nuts and the bolts and the screws and the, it's kind of not really necessarily needed. So this was removed from a 2003 convertible Tiptronic with 54,000 miles. I bought it with a engine problem, and I had it for a long. I probably had it for 2 or 3 years, and I just wasn't able to get to it, figure it out, fix the car. So I've since sold other parts of it, used parts off of it. I found a guy who needed an engine, that understanding what he was getting into. So this is pretty much everything. We're going to do a video here. I'm going to obviously do a video. I'm going to take detailed pictures of everything. If you have questions, by all means, please ask. The biggest thing I wanted to make sure everybody is aware, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, the front seats have been redone in vinyl. They look really good, but I want to make that abundantly clear. The front seats have been redone in vinyl, but you don't have to worry about them wearing, other things with the leather that eventually wears out on these cars. So it is out of a .2. It will work in a .1. It is a Tiptronic. It will work with a manual shift. The steering wheel, however, is obviously different. This has the tip shift buttons, but you could, for all intents and purposes, you could use the steering wheel in a manual car. My leaf just fell on there. You could use it in a manual 996. It would still function properly. You would just have non-functioning buttons, or you could get it wrapped, kind of redone without the Tiptronic buttons. I'm sure the buttons, the area where the buttons are, could be filled by a good upholsterer or steering wheel outfit. So we're gonna do a video here, and then I'm gonna take close-ups and show what wear items we have. So it's by no means perfect. There is some wear and tear on some of the pieces. It is overly complete, and I am including all the Bose speakers. So you have the 2 door speakers. You have the rear speakers. Then you have the speakers in the dash. And then also included is the floor speaker, the subwoofer. So a good question, if you don't have Bose, you can still use all the other speakers except the floor speaker. The sub won't have a plug. The main reason I am including the subwoofer is for purposes of installing the carpet. There is a cutout right there, right here. This cutout is on the passenger side, and that's where the subwoofer goes. So if you don't have a Bose car, you could still install it. You could install the subwoofer, which is there. It won't function, but you won't have a big hole in the carpet where the subwoofer should be. So you maybe could wire it in, somehow. I'm sure It could be done. I've never done it. I've never tried to put a Bose sub into a non-Bose car. So, you know, I'm going to take better pictures of everything, but for instance, on the rear door panel here, this is obviously a leaf. You know, there are some indentations, just from it being, you know, used for many years. This is on the driver's door panel. We have some wear up here. Also, this being the driver's door panel, it looks like the door panel was, part of it was recovered at one point. The plastic rivets were drilled out and everything was reassembled with little screws. Which I didn't do this one. I've done this before and it's actually not that difficult. So it looks like, to me, if I'm using my eye here, this section, which on the full leather door panels, as they age, it pulls away up here. It looks like this section was reupholstered at some point in the car's life. Then when you go over here on the passenger door panel, you will see it's starting to, the leather is starting to shrink right here, right? So for reference, there's the airbag cover. It's right above that. And then there's a little bit of a wear here. It's hard to see. It's pretty common on the full leather interiors. So this is the passenger rear. You know, there's some marks here. Maybe somebody was trying to put it, somebody was putting in a wind deflector. You know, who knows? Unfortunately, there's some wear here. There is some wear. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. So this is the passenger seat back. Looks like something that might come out after it sits for a while. I believe the seat was folded down. If you can imagine the seat folded down and then it was laying on something for a while. That's normally what causes that. But over with some time and maybe some heat, this would probably come out. And then this is the driver's rear bottom. Something sat on this for some time. But again, over time with air getting to it and maybe a little bit of heat, this may all, you know, come up a little bit. It probably would. And then on the inner parts here, it looks like this is a little faded on the cab. This is the part between the rear seats. If you can kind of picture that. This goes here. Rear seat goes here. If you guys that have cabs can kind of picture. So there may be a question asked if this will fit a coupe. It would fit a coupe, except the rear door panels are different. The rear seats are different. The carpet for the back seat is different. So it would kind of work. So I also wanted to point out, when I removed the dash, I forgot about one mounting bracket right there, which is for reference behind the airbag hole. You can kind of see where I'm going with my camera there. And unfortunately, I popped that one loose without taking the Torx 20. Everything else is intact. All the other mounting brackets, mounting holes, nothing else got damaged. I managed to get the trim pieces off of the front of the dash. I didn't break any of those clips, which is kind of amazing. Both sun visors have their covers. Also mildly amazing. The last thing I really wanted to point out, of course, we have the airbag, we have the glove box, we have all the center trim for the tunnel. There's the the fancy dance tippy shift. And again, if you have a manual, this will work. This is where the tip shifter comes up. This part on a manual car is just the manual shift boot. It's nothing, there's no difference. The only difference are the shift buttons. So what was I going to point out here? So we have all the trim on the dash here. Oh, I do have this part. I'm sorry, I was going to put that in there before I did my video, but I do have that vent. I got to go install that. I'll do that for the pictures. So all this is leather. The steering column cover is leather. This is the front of it, leather. You also get the vents, leather. The cup holder, leather, which is really cool. Okay, this is what I wanted to make sure everyone's aware of. So the wood strip right here, with all the crappy wood, the wood that always delaminates, it is there. It is there. I managed to save, or find when I got the car, 2 pieces of the wood trim. Now what I would recommend doing with the car, with the dash out, is taping this off with some painter's tape and painting, sanding it down, getting all the glue residue off, and then doing it there and there, and then painting it black, because that will go with the black end caps and the black speakers and the black tunnel and so on. And again, I do have this vent, and it is included. I just didn't pop it in before I started my video. Okay, so that should cover the video. One thing to note, these are the comfort seats with the lumbar. Okay, I'm going to, I have this seat loose in this cab right here. I'm going to hook the driver's seat up to the harness and demonstrate that all the seat motors work. If you don't have comfort seats in your car, the comfort seats will work, meaning this car does not have comfort seats. Okay, with these seats hooked up, because I checked them to make sure they function properly, the lumbar does work, even though that car is not wired for comfort seating. So hopefully that answers a question for folks. Oh yes, I also wanted to mention the horseshoe trim right here. So the vents go here, right, and then the cup holder goes under the vents here, and then the radio, goes here, and then the climate module. The horseshoe was the was wood, the laminated wood. It had all delaminated. It looked terrible. So it is. I have a black one, but all the retaining clips are broken on it. But I can include it if somebody wants it. But you would probably have to. I would recommend picking up a black horseshoe trim off eBay, or maybe you have a black one. Okay, so I think that's good for the video. Again, I anticipate a lot of questions about this. Ask anything that comes to mind. I will do my best to answer, and I look forward to a fun auction. And thanks.